Dominic Jackson for the lead. If he falls into his lap, fine, but if he doesn't, well, second racing time, or the first proper racing time anyway. 4 laps then completed. Dominic Jackson leading Steve Burgess by 3/4 of a second. Jerome de Sadelier, followed by Christian Jeffrey, Richard Baxter, Mark Richards 6th, 7th Elliot Goodman 8th, Barry Liversidge 9th, Peter Tyler and 10th John Caldwell, so no change in the order on that opening lap amongst the top 10. Lower down, John McLeod's moved up to 15th place, number 14, ahead of Martin Verity, and Rod Goodman has gained a place at the expense of Peter Brooks. Just the 2 retirements then from that incident. Spencer Bourne and Brian Caldwell. Leaders into Agostini. That's a big gain in, did Steve Burgess have a little moment somewhere, because he's dropped back. It's not just Dominic Jackson going quicker, Steve Burgess has dropped back into the clutches of Jerome de Sadelier and Christian Jeffrey. He drives from Guyana in his, I think, 2nd year it is. He's certainly raced radicals before this year. Christian Jeffrey in the good 4th place, and Richard Baxter there in 5th. But the leader certainly pulling away now. That's a big advantage if they come through. Out of our sight at Agostini, I suspect, because he's now getting away once more from Jerome de Sadelier. By the end of the lap, the gap is 0.9 of a second between Steve Burgess 2nd and Jerome de Sadelier 3rd. But Dominic Jackson's lead has doubled. It's 1.8 seconds now from being 0.9 a lap ago. Behind, Mark Crader has moved up to 9th place ahead of John Caldwell and Peter Tyler, and John McLeod's gained another place. Number 14 is now 14th, ahead of number 32, Sam Moores. So we're kind of returning lap by lap to the order that they were in after qualifying. Jerome de Sadelier not quite able to live with Steve Burgess, and Christian Jeffrey not really putting the pressure on Jerome de Sadelier, but he's there or thereabouts nonetheless. Now, window opens. Time reference. By 1.8 seconds, so his lead is about the same, but the new fastest lap done by Jerome de Sadelier, a 1:52.570, as he closes in a little more on Steve Burgess by the end of the lap. I think this is a lap with no place changes, is it? Yeah, the order now beginning to settle down. Still going well. No, there's a change. Another place gained by number 14, John McLeod. He's now 13th. He's moved ahead of number 94, who started right at the back, Ollie Mariteotto. Leaders going through Agostini at the moment. And yes, Jérôme de Sadler, the Swiss driver, certainly putting on a bit of a surge, a bit of a spurt here, closing down. Yes, he's braking later into Oggies than Steve Burgess. But maybe, because of course Jérôme de Sadler has an extra 10 seconds to spend in the pits, that he's asking more of his car than Steve Burgess, who's a very experienced radical racer, is asking of his. But moments later, Steve Burgess went slightly quicker over the line, 1:52.130. That's the new fastest lap of the race. Jérôme de Sadler almost as quick, just a few thousand slower. So the gap between him and Steve Burgess remains much the same. And lower down, do we have a change? Yes, up into 11th place has come number 57, Brian Murphy, ahead of Peter Tyler. And Sam Moores, number 32, has moved up ahead of Ollie Mariteotto. And also Rod Goodman's moved ahead of Martin Verity, who would be expected to be in the middle of the pack. He's now dropped down, Martin Verity. Perhaps there was a bit of damage sustained by the car in the first corner incident, but anyway, he's keeping going when he's dropped to 17th place. On this lap, Dominic Jackson has done personal best first and second sector, unlike close to the window of done a new fastest lap there, Dominic, 1:52.094. Christian Jeffries just done a personal best lap, as has the driver who's been snapping at his heels for the last few laps. No, sorry, it's Richard Baxter and Mark Richards who are the ones who were close together. They're in 5th and 6th places. Christian Jeffries is clear of them. He's doing all he can, Dominic Jackson, to build on his lead, but it's not yet anything like enough to overcome the 20 success seconds that he carries. Oh, I can see something being carried as well, which is the car of Brian Cordwell on the back of the flatbed being taken back to the pits where it'll be repaired. Well, all night. On this lap, Dominic Jackson and Steve Burgess are 1.775. So the gap between Steve Burgess